set up where everybody have opportunity to put in their requests,
Yeah.
and then all requests are reviewed fairly.
Yeah.
And not say, we're gonna give this specific group a certain amount just because we've done it in past years.
Every year is a new year.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, now citizens wishing to speak. Let's see. Nova Harkless? Nova Harkless? No. Mrs. Harkless?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Nova Hopkins, Harkless, and I'm coming to speak on the property at 308 Washington Street. That's where my mom lives at, and we live at, that's our family home. For 6 years, when my dad drove by dead in the coffin, in the hearse, a hole, somebody fell in a hole. This is 6 years now. The city hasn't done anything for me. When I go and talk to somebody, they always push me back. About, we gonna see about it. I'm gonna talk to you later. I hadn't even had a phone call from you, Mr. Payne. You hadn't returned my call, and I gave you my number. Nobody had returned my call about that property. Now, we need to have that property covered either with cement. I understand that there's a pipe running across the street to the all them. But that's not our problem, that's the city problem. They need to do something about that. That hole been there for 6 years. You pass by there on that street, you look at my mama's yard and you see the fade out posters there. They were orange when you put them there, they're white now. And that don't make no sense. None whatsoever. I can't get no kind of response, I can't get no help. Only thing is, you're pushing us to the side, and we'll see about it. Now, nobody has seen about it yet. But the only thing I want you to do is go to my mama's house and walk in the yard and stand right there and see when you come back up. That's what I want you to do. Because they can again. And it don't make no sense. So, what you can do is set a meeting with me. And I'll be there. But I want you to stand right there and see when you come back up. Now, I got grandchildren, nobody can park over there. It don't make no sense. And it look terrible over there. And my mom's house shouldn't even be looking like that. For 6 years, 6 years, I ride up there and I think about my poor dad. And that when they buried him. And that when I hold the cake. And I shouldn't have to ride up there every day and see it like that. It don't make no sense. We was asking for it to be covered. And somebody said, well, you can't cover with dirt. I know you can't cover with dirt. Cover with dirt if you want to. And stand on top of it and see where you go. It needs cement. It needs mortar mix. You need to check into it before somebody get hurt again. Somebody got hurt there. And the whole, when it rained for 6 years, it's going to merge, keep on merging into my mom's yard. And somebody need to check on it. Somebody said they don't know about what the DOT can do, South Carolina DOT can do about it. If you don't know about it, then you shouldn't have the job. You know, that's just point blank. You know, if you can't talk to them, but I can talk to them for you. But my mama's yard needs to be fixed.
Okay, I'll come and see you tomorrow.
All right, I appreciate that.
Come and see you tomorrow.
Well, council, I asked Ms. Harkless to come so she can voice her opinion, but we have been dealing with it for quite a time. But this is the same residence that I voiced at our last, might have not been at our last council meeting, but whenever we may have even been in executive session, where I was telling you that when the project, the stormwater project that we had on in Ward 2, at that time the engineers tried their darndest to identify how they could fix it. And they identified that they had 3 different systems running up under there. And they were only concerned at that point, of course, with finishing the stormwater. We've had others to go out, but that's why I was kind of anxiously or just pushing that we, out of this infrastructure we have now, I know it's not for individual homes and things, but this is a system that the engineers are saying is running over there, that we could possibly go ahead and get her fixed now, because as she says, I mean, it's been that long. And I've been with her and talking with the different administrators to see what can we do. And the only thing that under the prior administration, was able to put that metal plate over, and that doesn't last. I mean, it is really dangerous, and folk have fell in the hole. Okay, so we have to really do something. So I was thinking with all of this new things that for infrastructure, that we could put that as a priority. Ms. Harkless is a long-time tax-paying resident here in Ward 2, been here for a long time, always very active in our political processes. So I do want us, and I asked her to please come, because I wanted you all to hear it from her. And I appreciate it if we could figure out a way to go ahead and get this done.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Harms.
you.
All right, Melvin Fox? Ms. Lewis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. A couple of things I wanted to bring up tonight. In our last meeting, you and I had a discussion after the meeting. And at that time, you were quoting from a book stating what the regulations are for city council meetings. And I apologize, you were right. In there it says that, doesn't say that we have to have the right to speak. That's up to you, the council members. The time limit's up to you and the members. And what they recommend in there is 5 to 10 minutes. Some places do less. So there are things. And it does say the city council approves the minutes of the meetings, which we don't get to see. So, you know, you're right. I apologize, I don't agree with it. So that's just my personal point. More importantly to me, a couple things with water and sewer. At the last meeting, Mr. Mayor, you talked about how the city had been running in the hole year after year, and that you decided to raise the water rates. I saw the newspaper article, and in there it was mentioned, and you kind of said that you kind of laughed it off, and that you kind of put pressure on the city council to approve it. Now, did anybody ever stop to think that last year, this town, this city, the county, the state, everyone was going through COVID. People had lost jobs. They were hurting. Inflation was going up. And we had a lot of people in this town. They couldn't afford all that. So on top of it, we raised their sewer rates. And then when they couldn't pay the rates, we cut the water off. And then we want to get all this back pay or a penalty for not being able to pay it. You even mentioned that you paid for somebody's. When you raised the rates, I don't know if anybody in here was privy to what you were going to be doing. Those rates, if we were going to have to raise them, didn't have to be raised that high. The city could have been aware of what was going to happen. Late fees. We could have foregone the late fees for a period of time simply because we know this town is hurting. There's people out there hurting. So we didn't have to do it. I think it really needs to be looked at. Now, my final thing is, still on water and sewer. Last meeting, we had a couple of people come up here, and they talked about areas where sewage was coming up along the roads and pipes and everything. And it's been an ongoing problem for for years. What happens when a child gets out there and plays and maybe they're going through this sewage, they come out down with Ebola or cholera, and somebody dies? Come back on this council and the councils before it because nothing's been done. They brought it up, but I didn't hear not one person on this council speak up and say, let's do this. Let's look at this and how we're going to address this. I have worked in 15 countries in Africa, and I've seen cholera.
Hallelujah.
I've had cholera. God forbid it ever happens here in our church. We don't need it. We need to do something about this. It's an environmental problem. Maybe the EPA needs to be involved in it. Whatever. This city council needs to do something to address those problems. And then we need to get something done about it. I do appreciate the fact that it took off, that we couldn't ask questions of the council. So, I appreciate that, but you and I had it in our discussion last week. After the meeting, we talked. We had several people that you said will talk after the meeting. Mr. Mayor, if there's anything that needs to be said after the meeting, it needs to be said at this meeting where everybody at this council and sitting out here can hear it. Because we don't have any idea what's talked about or decided.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you.
Now, I want to say this to you, Mr. Lewis.
Pardon me?
I did. Twice I've already addressed those fees. And I think the council do need to revisit those fees that we charge citizens on that water bill. And I brought that up twice already.
Absolutely.
But this council seemed to not want to even address the fees, because even the structure of the fees need to be addressed. Because it's definitely hurting the citizens of Darlington.
Well, what bothers me is you do it and nobody is aware you're doing it. And we have a lot of elderly people in this area that don't have the income that some of us may have. We need to think about this.
And let me say this, and on top of that, there's another ordinance that was put in place as far as people with abandoned, with houses that they're not living in. So that ordinance on top of the water bill is gonna affect citizens. And it's too expensive, because it starts out at $400 a year, then $1,000 a year, then $3,000 a year. Citizens can't afford that.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Citizens cannot afford
Taking the
that.
vote?
So it need to be addressed.
I agree.
That ordinance also need to be addressed.
Taking the vote?
Just one last thing, Mr. Mayor. This is a prime example of what I was talking about. I bring up about the sewage and everything else. What are we gonna do? Nothing. We're gonna sit up there
Let's
just
go
like
ahead,
they have
let's
for the
go ahead and
last 20
discuss
years.
it tonight, okay? My turn to talk, okay? Mr. Lewis, you want us to fix everything so that there's no sewer out in the street. But then you want to say that we shouldn't raise the water bill. You said that we shouldn't. Let me talk.
Okay.
You said that we shouldn't, that we didn't tell the people. We give everybody a reading, a notice, and a head of time. The water bill didn't get raised until August. If you listen to the numbers that I quoted you the other day, less people got their water turned off than the year before, okay? There's always been late fees, okay? And if you're going to get things fixed, we finally got it from, why has it not been fixed? Because I told you for the last 8 years, it's been in the hole. So we finally got it to where it's not in the hole, so we can start trying to get things fixed. So you can't have both ways, okay? And that's why I raised my hand. If you don't want to vote me in, don't vote me in. But please, quit coming to my council and whining about stuff when we're trying to get things done, okay? We're getting things done, all right? And we're letting people know what's happening. I'm as clear and transparent as everybody can possibly be. We let everybody know the water bill was raised, okay? The water bill got raised. We got out of the hole. We're getting things fixed, okay? We've been in the hole for years. Stuff has to be fixed. It's a business. Has to be fixed, okay? So, please quit coming up. We'll take your comments. We're not here for a discussion. That was the purpose of that, so we don't be here all night for discussion. I do not have anything to hide, Mr. Lewis. I stood there in front of everybody the other night and talked to you, said, please do not insinuate that I have anything to hide. I told everybody when everything is being done. So, I raised the water bills. I did not force anybody to raise the water bill. Everybody voted for it, the ones that wanted to vote for it. That's the way things work. Mr. Boyd does not make things happen. Mr. Boyd works to try to get things changed. That's what the rest of the council is here for. So please, quit coming up to our council. This is my room, this is my council, this is the only thing that I have control of. So please, I allow you to speak as I ask you to speak. You're allowed to speak. Please do not come up and badger us, okay, about that. Anytime that you like to talk afterwards, I have a complete discussion, we'll complete discussion. But please, excuse me, Mrs. DeBose.
No, you're not gonna sit there and
Yes, sir.
keep, you're
That
not
is
gonna
it.
sit there and accuse me
I'll
of
ask you
whining.
to leave if you continue on. Mrs. DeBose, please come up, thank you.
Wait a minute, let me say something.
No, discussion's over.
First of all, whoa,
Discussion's
no,
over, Mrs.
excuse me,
Discussion is over.
you don't own me. You might own the rest of these people, but you do not own me on this council.
Mr. Bose.
Let me educate you on that right now. My council, my city, my this. That's your racist problem right there, my this. You don't own nobody around here. This ain't no dictatorship. You done lost your mind in here.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Excuse me, Mr. Bose, I'm very, come on.
Okay, good evening.
How you doing?
I just speak peace. I'm gonna say this I speak peace and unity amongst the council.
If possible, peace.
And,
That's what Paul says.
Yes,
If possible.
if possible.
All right, everyone, please, control it.
All right. My name is Jacqueline Bowes. I'm a bus driver for Darlington, D15, Miss Jackie. That's my president, Sean, Odom. In March 2018, I had started a nonprofit organization called Jump Into New Heights. It's geared towards the youth and young adults. It's a twofold program, which consists of double dutch, which we started, dance, jazz, tap, ballet, boxing, fencing, and it's an educational program where children can learn law, business structure, not college prep, but changing their mindset of going to college, because it's a whole new world out there. We also have law school for non-lawyers coming in, because I believe that children and young adults should know business and law, because we have to deal with that for the remainder of our lives. I right now have rented a building at 116 Main Street. When I started March 2018, I had 300 kids sign up. I was asking the school to help me in order to practice there, but of course no avail. We continue to practice. I still have the 300 students, but I'm coming forth to find out if I can receive any funds in order to expedite this program to the level we need to. There's some kids, we don't want the kids to be falling by the wayside. We want them to have different outlets. And under this program, they get to taste everything without being such a taxing to the parents. They can taste, get to see whether they want to do karate, double-dutch, boxing, and tap into law, architect. It's a lot of vast things under one umbrella. And my logo is the purple umbrella, so you get to, taste and see. But my goal is I do have my 501c3. I have my board, and like I said, Sean is the president, and then I have 2 other people that's working with me. I'm incorporating some volunteers, and how to expedite this program is that I'm allowing mentors in order to execute the different sections, like karate, boxing. I'm involving them in. So I'm involving the community as well to help bring a better mindset to Darlington County. So I was asking for funds in order to expedite the grant open, hopefully in April, and to also to bring in the mentors, because it's going to cost. So.
Are you on Main Street, North Main or South?
South Main. Beside Jamaican store, that base building,
Is that where now?
the Jamaican store.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a base building. It's Mr. Terry owned the building.
Used to be the restaurant there?
I think
No,
so.
where the nightclub used to be or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's Jackson
Yeah,
place.
Jackson.
Terry Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, Barry, okay.
Yeah, he
Well,
was
he
amazing.
did
We
call me
started,
about you.
yeah, we started talking in
Sorry, I didn't-
November, and he actually called the building because he saw what I was doing, he went back home to Atlanta. He said, she got a good idea, you know, for the youth and young adults. And, he held that building all the way up to last week, when I rented it to go. So, I mean, for him to believe in me and this program is really astonished, because he could have advertised the building a long time ago. So I just wanted to have a big grand opening and start out on a really good foot to bring in these mentors and to have the children to do something different.
And you have how many children, 300?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I started and they signed up 300 kids. And I went out to Society Hill to see what I can utilize their gym. So that's really, I guess they're waiting to see how COVID's gonna be. But my goal, overall vision is to have this program to go to all 46 counties. Because I know and truly believe that it's really a good program, so it won't be so taxing on the parent that, okay, a child go and I'm gonna sign you up for boxing and then they don't like it, you know, they waste the money. So therefore, they get to taste all these different things. Well, because children minds, you know, change. I don't like this one day and then I like this. But it's, they can try everything under one umbrella.
So is the funding that you're asking from us for people who live in Darlington?
And yeah, that's just, I was just giving you an overall view for long term, but just for Darlington.
Sure. Do you have an amount that you're looking for?
Well, I was thinking about 13,000 to start, you know, I know what you were saying, Mr. Million, that there should be an application in process, you know, and when you were saying that, I kind of chuckled. But this is a new nonprofit organization, and I just really believe that this will be beneficial to the children of Darlington. So that's all.
So the children have to pay when they come down? Or-
They would have to start out with a registration, and I was looking like a registration maybe because of most of the kids and parents is, we understand, is not in a high bracket of income. So I was thinking maybe $30 or $35 for registration. Now, yes, they're gonna have to contribute per month, maybe $40 a month, or maybe 3 children per household, $45 a month, because they have to pull into something. They can't, you know, we're teaching, you know, stewardship as well. You know, we also is working with beautification of Darlington and the garden club, because I believe that they should be able to contribute to picking up trash, you know, beautifying Darlington. So they have to do some volunteer work, whether it's inside or outside. We did do some volunteer work before, but I think instilling that in them, they'll be more grateful for what the things they do have.